your neighbor just started heating their leftovers, and your video call froze. In the next 10 minutes, you'll understand exactly why those two things are connected and how Wi-Fi really works from your router all the way to your screen. Welcome to WiseOwl. I'm going to walk you through Wi-Fi, the full thing. No jargon. We'll start from the basic physics of what a radio wave is, move through how your router generates and broadcasts those waves, explain how your devices decode them, and finish with exactly why your connection gets slow and how to fix it. First, let's establish what Wi-Fi actually is. Wi-Fi is radio, and radio is just electromagnetic radiation, the same fundamental phenomenon as visible light, X-rays, microwaves, and gamma rays. The thing that separates these is frequency, how fast the wave oscillates per second. Visible light oscillates roughly 400 to 700 trillion times per second. Your Wi-Fi router operates at 2.4 gigahertz, 2.4 billion oscillations per second, much slower than visible light, which is why you can't see it. But these radio waves travel at exactly the same speed as light, 300 million meters per second. That's why when you tap a YouTube video on your phone, the router responds almost instantly, even from across a room. Now, these waves pass through some materials and not others. Air, glass, wood, and drywall, they pass through relatively easily. Concrete and metal, they reflect or absorb the waves, blocking or weakening the signal. And water absorbs them very effectively, which matters because your body is about 70% water. A person standing between you and the router can measurably drop your signal. This also explains the microwave problem. A standard kitchen microwave operates at 2.45 gigahertz to heat food, and your 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi operates right next to that in the spectrum. When the microwave runs, it leaks radiation at the same frequency as your Wi-Fi channel. 2.4 gigahertz. Let's really sit with that number. The wave from your router oscillates, peaks and troughs, 2,400,000,000 times every single second. Each oscillation carries encoded data. With 2.4 billion happening per second, even at low efficiency, you can move an enormous amount of information very quickly. And your router is doing this continuously, even when you're not actively loading a page. So how does your router actually generate these waves? Inside every router is a radio frequency oscillator, a specialized chip that generates alternating electrical current at precisely 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. That oscillating current flows into the router's antenna. Here's the key physics. When electrical current alternates in a conductor, it creates an electromagnetic field that radiates outward into space. That radiation is the Wi-Fi signal. Your router is, in every meaningful sense, a small radio station. It broadcasts in all directions simultaneously, constantly, even when nobody's loading a page. Every 100 milliseconds or so, it sends what's called a beacon frame, a brief burst of data announcing its existence, its network name, and its technical capabilities. This is what your phone's Wi-Fi chip is always passively listening for, which is why available networks show up on your screen even before you've tried to connect. Now, the actual data you send and receive gets encoded into those radio waves through a process called modulation. The simplest version, slightly vary the wave to represent ones and zeros. But modern Wi-Fi uses much more sophisticated encoding. Wi-Fi 6 can pack 10 bits of data into each wave cycle, compared to 1 bit in early Wi-Fi. Same frequency, dramatically more data per second. Now let's look at the two frequencies your router likely supports: 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. These aren't just different speeds, they're genuinely different trade-offs. 2.4 gigahertz waves are longer. Longer waves bend around obstacles and penetrate walls better. So 2.4 gives you better range. But the downside is that the 2.4 gigahertz band is incredibly crowded. Your microwave, your neighbor's router, Bluetooth devices, baby monitors, all operating there. 5 gigahertz waves are shorter. They carry significantly more data per second, but they're more easily blocked by walls and distance. The rule of thumb: if you're in the same room as your router, use 5 gigahertz and enjoy the speed. On the other side of the building, 2.4 gigahertz will give you a more stable connection. Most modern routers handle this automatically, switching between bands based on your signal strength. Here's a mental model that changes how you think about this. Your router is not sending Wi-Fi to your devices. It's broadcasting Wi-Fi everywhere, in all directions simultaneously. The signal goes through walls, into neighboring apartments, out into the street. Your device doesn't receive a private signal meant for it. It intercepts a tiny fraction of a broadcast that's going everywhere. Wi-Fi is radio, and your phone is a radio receiver. Exactly like a car radio picking up a station that's simultaneously playing for every car in the city. So we know the waves travel through the air. But how does a wave become a Netflix stream? When you tap play, your phone sends a tiny request packet to the router. A packet is just binary data, ones and zeros with a header saying where it's going. The router forwards that request through your internet connection to Netflix's servers. Netflix responds by sending video data, but not as one giant file. It's broken into thousands of packets, each containing a small chunk of encoded video. Each packet travels independently through the internet, arriving at your router in whatever order it happens to get there. Your router collects them and broadcasts them over Wi-Fi. Your phone reassembles them in order and passes the data to the Netflix app, which decodes and plays them. The entire round trip, your phone to the router, through the internet to Netflix's servers, and back, takes under 100 milliseconds on a good connection. Your brain needs 250 milliseconds to consciously register something. By the time you feel the video starting, it has already buffered several seconds ahead. When a packet gets corrupted or lost, which happens under interference, your device detects the gap and sends a retransmit request. This adds latency. Heavy interference doesn't just slow you down, it multiplies delays. On a clear 5 GHz channel with no interference, the round-trip time for a Wi-Fi packet from your device to the router and back can be under 2 milliseconds, 0.002 of a second. Your blink reflex takes about 150 milliseconds. Wi-Fi is 75 times faster than you can blink. The lag you feel when something buffers is not the Wi-Fi. It's the internet connection between your router and the content server. Now let's talk about why Wi-Fi actually gets slow, because the causes are usually not what people think. The most common culprit is channel congestion. Wi-Fi operates on specific channels within its frequency band. If 6 routers in your building are broadcasting on channel 6, they're constantly colliding. When one router broadcasts, the others have to wait, and those collisions cause packet retransmits, which compounds the slowdown. Modern routers scan for the least congested channel automatically, but if yours has been plugged in for years, it might be on a suboptimal channel. The second cause, a slow device drags the whole network. Wi-Fi is a shared medium. When an older device connects, one that only supports an older Wi-Fi standard, the router has to slow its communication down to accommodate that device. Everything else gets slower too. It's like one horse-drawn carriage causing a backup on a modern highway. The third cause people often miss, the router's own CPU. Budget routers have weak processors. With 15 to 20 devices all streaming simultaneously, smart TVs, phones, security cameras, smart speakers, the router itself can become the bottleneck. It can't route packets fast enough. A faster internet plan won't help. A better router will. Quick rapid fire. 5 specific things that tank your Wi-Fi performance. 1. Your microwave. Leaks at 2.45 GHz directly into your 2.4 GHz band while heating food. Use 5 GHz or move the router away from the kitchen. 2. Concrete walls and metal studs. These absorb and reflect Wi-Fi aggressively. If your home has concrete walls, you likely need a mesh network. 3. One old device. A 2010 printer connecting at Wi-Fi 4 speeds can force your entire network slower. Isolate old devices on a guest network. 4. Your neighbor's channels. In an apartment building, switch your phone to the 5 GHz network, far less crowded than 2.4. 5. Your router's location. A router in the corner sends most of its signal into walls. Dead center in your home, elevated off the floor, away from metal objects. That's it. The single cheapest performance upgrade available to you. Here's what Wi-Fi 6 changed, and it's not just speed. Previous Wi-Fi worked like a classroom where students raise their hands and take turns speaking one at a time. Wi-Fi 6 introduced OFDMA, a technique borrowed from 4G cellular, where multiple devices can transmit simultaneously, each using their own slice of the frequency band. For a smart home with 30 connected devices, all active at once, Wi-Fi 6 isn't just faster. It's a fundamentally different architecture. Wi-Fi 6 theoretical maximum, 9.6 gigabits per second. That's 12 times faster than the average US home internet connection, which means the Wi-Fi itself is no longer the bottleneck. Your internet service provider is. The counterintuitive finding most people discover too late. Upgrading from a 200 megabit plan to a gigabit plan while keeping a 5-year-old router delivers almost zero improvement in real-world speed. Upgrade the router first. So here's what you understand now that most people don't. Wi-Fi is electromagnetic radiation, the same phenomenon as visible light, just at a frequency you can't see. Your router is a lighthouse, broadcasting in all directions constantly. Your devices are radio receivers tuning to that broadcast. Packets of binary data ride those invisible waves at the speed of light. And the reason your microwave freezes your call, it's literally emitting radiation on the same frequency as half your Wi-Fi network. Now you know,